Okay, so this is the first lesson where we're going to start using programming to make a web page. Now, the first thing that you see on your HTML page, remember we're on the index.html page, is we are going, and we can collapse it right there. Let's look at what is shown on this page right here so that we can make sense of it. We don't want to delete a lot of it, we can overwrite it, but we want to keep a lot of it, but just understand what it does. So the first thing that you should understand is that web pages, when they are, so this programming is translated to this web page right here. Okay, so behind every web page, including the one that we're looking at, is a bunch of HTML programming or markup that tells the page what to look like, okay? Or tells what content should be on the page. So this well hello here, we see this right here. Right? This little thing, which is actually like a hyperlink, if I click on it, it goes to a different web page. That right here is this created within this space right here. Right? So everything I see on a web page is shown in HTML on our left. Right? I'm a cool new web page. That's right here. You can see that right here. Now, every web page programming is read from top to bottom and left to right, right? Just like you would read a book, right? So the first thing that we encounter on this HTML page right here is we see doc type HTML, and that just tells the browser, whatever browser you're using. I'm using Google Chrome. A browser is a program that's installed on your computer in order to read an HTML file and to access the internet. So browsers are, Safari, Firefox, Internet Explorer, Chrome. Those are examples of browsers. This tells the browser that it is rendering an HTML file, right? It's making a web page from the contents that are on this file right here. Okay. The second thing that you encounter is you see HTML here, and you see this little symbol. We're going to see this symbol and its pair. We're going to see those all the time. This is part of the syntax of HTML. Those are called angle brackets. In mathematics, they're called less than or greater than symbols, but in programming, they're called brackets or angle brackets. We begin these are called tags right here. They always begin and end with angle brackets. So you'll see the opening HTML tag and you set the language to English. That's important because if someone in Spain opens up this web page, maybe the browser might ask them, hey, do you want to translate this to Spanish? I can tell from your IP address that you're in Spain, and I can tell from the beginning of this file that it's in English, so it may offer a translation service for you. So it sets the HTML file language as English. Now, you don't necessarily need this, but it is good programming to do this. Okay. Now, what you'll notice is that there is an opening tag, what we're going to call an opening tag right here, and there is its pair right here, the closing tag. Now, this is called, and this is also an example of an opening tag, right? So this one says head, and you will see what's called a closing tag right here. Those are pairs. The words inside them are identical. They're on the left, there's an opening angle bracket and a right angle bracket. The only difference between an opening tag and a closing tag is the slash right here, okay? And these items are considered in the head tag, or what we should say, it's in the head of the HTML document, because they are within the opening and closing tag of the HTML document, okay? And they are also tabbed one level in. That also shows containment. So these tags always have to come in pairs. Opening and closing always have to come in pairs, and we put the things inside that we want inside of those tags. We put them in between the opening and closing tag, right? So this is the opening tag of the HTML. This is the closing tag. Everything is inside the opening and closing tag of the HTML except the doc type. The HTML document is made up of two parts, the head and then the body. So you can see this is the head, and then this is the body. The head, everything that's contained within the head are like settings for your web page, essentially things that you are not actually going to see as the content of your web page, but they will define how the web page looks, and it's also information about how there's any links that we need for the style sheet, which is right here, or the JavaScript, which is right here. Those links are contained within the head. So it's information about your web page, but things that we don't want showing up on the actual web page. Things that we want showing up on the web page is contained within the body. So here's the opening body tag, and here's the closing tag. I have a heading and a paragraph tag. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Okay, so what you'll notice is when I change the title here and I go to share in the live app view, I copy that. I've already pasted that in here. What you'll notice is that the title in the head changes the name of the tab here, okay? So if I change this here and I said refresh this and I refresh this page, it would change the title right here, okay? So that's the title. This gives information about the character set or the keyboard that you're using. This right here gives information about how the web page scales itself depending on the device width, right? So it just tells it to change the width of the web page based on the width of the device that's accessing the web page. These right here are really important. They're links to the CSS sheet that we're going to use later on to actually style our page out. This is a link to the JavaScript, so if you take software engineering in the 10th grade, you will understand how to use JavaScript. We're not going to do it in the 9th grade. But that essentially is what is contained in the head of this file. Now let's talk about the body. And essentially when you open up these files, you're really not going to change much in the head except maybe the title. The body is where we do a lot of change right here. So right here, what you can see is, well, hello, that is in an H1 tag. Now, these are called heading tags. I think there's up to 12 heading tags. I kind of forget sometimes, but the heading tags are just, they're just ways of creating titles that are increasingly smaller. So the higher the number of heading, the smaller the default text of the heading tag is. And we're going to demonstrate that in just a second. This is called a paragraph tag. And here, right here, these are actually, this creates a button right here. That's a piece of JavaScript that is inside of your body. So we're just going to take that out for now. We're going to simplify it. Now we're going to recreate this page, but we're going to make it into a web page. So first of all, I want you to copy this, and I actually want this to be the title right here. So I want to paste that into title, all right? You have access to this on Google Classroom. I'm going to copy this, the universe, and I'm going to paste it into my H1 here. Okay. I'm going to go back and copy this paragraph right here, and I'm going to paste it into, I'm going to paste it into the paragraph tag right here. Okay. Take everything out here that's in between the opening and closing paragraph tag, and I'm just going to paste it here. Now it's going off my page, which is kind of annoying, so I'm going to press return so that it stays on the page right here. I'm going to try to do it so I don't split my words. What you'll notice here is that when I hit return here, it doesn't actually, the line spaces here doesn't actually relate to the line space here. So energy is the last word on this line. You'll notice that it is not the last word on one of the lines here. Planet, space, and unknown are the last words here. Okay, so this is just a way for me to see it correctly in the coding window. It does not relate to how this creates a line space here. We'll talk about how to do that later on. Okay, now I'm going to use an H2 tag. So I'm actually creating this. You'll notice that our development environment automatically adds the closing tag for us, which is really great so that we don't forget it. We just want to click in between those two tags. We don't want to leave our cursor outside of the tag. Okay, and I'll write the galaxy, Command C to copy, Command V to paste. Okay, outside of my H2 tag, I'm going to create another paragraph tag right here. I'm going to copy this, paste it in here. Again, I'm going to create line spaces wherever I want them to be so that it doesn't go off the page. Okay. I'm going to do an H3 tag here. All right. And once I get everything in, I will show you, we'll look at what the result is. There's H3, paragraph. I want to put information about the solar system here. So you are coding along with me as I do this. So make sure that you are adding all this information in. We'll make it look nicer in just a minute. Put this in an H4. Another paragraph tag. Finally, H5, we'll have information about the continents. Okay. Okay, so I have all the information that I need in there. Let me just go back and add spaces the way I like to so I can see everything. Okay, and I've just taken this text off of a Wikipedia page so that, oh, I keep splitting my words. All right, and I don't think I need that ending brace there. Okay, and what I can do is I can hit format this file, and our development environment is really nice. It gives me all the proper tabbing that I need. So tabbing again shows containment. So these are all the same level of tab because they are inside of the body tag. The body tag is inside the HTML, so it's tabbed in one level. The paragraph is both in the body and in the HTML file, so it's tabbed in 2 levels. Okay, when I hit refresh, it shows me all of the content that I have. Notice that the increasing values of the heading, universe is H1, then H2, H3, so on. As you increase the number in the heading, the default text is decreased. So by the time we get down to H5 right here, this text is actually by default smaller than this. Okay, we can change that all in the CSS, but we're going to do that a little bit later on. So right now, this is the first thing that I want you to code along with me. So this is the notes for lesson 1 right here. You are going to change the name of your file by clicking here and changing it to the universe. Put your first letter of your first name and your last name, and that way when you pass it in, your URL will have that information about you on there. Notice that, so this is what I should look at when you pass things in. Please go ahead and click here, click share, but click the project page, not the live app page, and throw that into the Google form for me. All right, and that's your lesson 1.